Every year around Easter, churches around the world start focusing on 3 days that changed the whole world. 3 days that changed everything: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And when we talk about these days, and we talk about the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, we're really talking about the gift of new life, the gift of grace and salvation that is made available to us through this death. And I grew up in church, so the stories about Jesus' death on Friday, they were very familiar to me. But there was always something that didn't make a lot of sense to me. I understood that because I sin and because we all sin, we're separated from God. I know that my sin hurts God, and that in order for me to come into a relationship with Him, one that will last for eternity, I had to be forgiven. All of that made sense to me. But what never made sense to me was, why couldn't God just forgive me? Why did Jesus have to die? When someone hurts me, I don't have to kill someone else in order to forgive them. So why does God make that the rule here? I never understood it until someone explained it to me like this. Imagine you own a video game system, maybe the best video game system ever invented, the PS3. But you may disagree, and you can be wrong. You saved up for it, and you worked hard for it, and now you finally own it. And you love this thing, so much so that you'd even wake up early on a Saturday morning to play it. But this Saturday morning, you come downstairs to find that your little sister has spilled milk all over the PS3. You're tempted to just yell and scream at her and tell her about how she's definitely going to pay you back for that. But then you remember something. She's so young, she can't really understand what she's done, right? She knows from your reaction that she shouldn't have done it, and she may be able to understand that she can't hurt other people's property, but she can't really understand the damage that she's done. And if you explain to her how much it costs for you to buy the PS3, she could never comprehend how much that really costs. And she can never pay you back even if she wanted to. So what do? You forgive her, right? You don't keep her in your debt or charge her interest. You just forgive her. She can never understand how much it cost or be able to pay you back for the debt, so you choose to forgive her. But you're still out the money for your PS3, and someone has to pay that debt, right? You're choosing to eat the cost and take care of that debt. You've chosen to be gracious with your sister, but it's not really fair, is it? It's not fair to you. It's not really equal. And this is how our sin works with God. Our relationship with God is so valuable, it's priceless. But we sin. We choose other things over God, and we've damaged that relationship. We can understand that we've damaged our relationship, but we can't really understand how much we have, right? We don't know how much our sin costs, and we couldn't pay that price even if we wanted to. The Bible tells us that the price of our sin is death. Well, we can't pay that, and God knows it. So He chooses to forgive us of our debt. But just as much as God is merciful and gracious, God is also just. Our sin creates a debt with God, a debt that someone had to pay. And because God loves us so much, He couldn't stand the fact that we couldn't be in relationship with Him. So He chose to forgive us of our debt. But in order for justice to be served, in order for things to be equal, someone had to pay the price of our debt. So God sent Jesus, His Son, to die on the cross as a payment for our sin. Jesus, who never sinned, never deserved death, took on our sin, took on our punishment, and died for us. And when followers of Christ see the cross, what most of us see is God's great love and grace. And that's true. But what's also true is that the cross is a symbol of God's justice, that all sin has a price, and that God makes things equal. And it reminds us that our God was willing to take our punishment in order to make things right, to make us right with God.